See now, how is the tour bus? You guys are on the bus? Is that what you're doing?
We do. This is a 4-day van tour.
Okay.
We just did 4 shows. We flew to Minneapolis and played in there. And we played Chicago, Dumbledore, and we played where were we last night? St. Louis.
St. Louis, yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing, incredible, one of the best shows ever. But yeah, so we just got back from Europe 2 weeks ago, and we had the big smelly tour bus going over there. You know, the man cheese.
Yes.
So traveling around, Hungary and the Czech Republic and Germany and whatnot. It was great, amazing. We played the Grasspop Festival actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
We headlined the 3rd stage there and had 7,000 people at midnight. It was right before Kiss, which was really great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Finally got to see Kiss. That was good. That was cool.
Is that your first time?
I've never seen Kiss.
Okay.
Yeah, Gene is. I was just saying to the guys, Gene Simmons has come to see Helmet, 4 or 5 times, and I've never seen his band.
Thought you might reciprocate.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys are pretty good. Hey.
Yeah, thanks for showing. You've done a lot of producing and stuff like that now too. You've kind of expanded what you do in that. And how do you balance all that? How do you balance the band with, I'm going to go over here and sink my head into this album for a while?
I think the beauty right now of the band is that we don't have to go out for 18 months straight, and your life is completely consumed by the band, by just Helmet. And so I sat down with our new booking agency, TKO, and I said, I don't want to go out for that long. Let's say 2 to 4 to 5 weeks would be the max, and then have us home for that amount of time as well. So. Like tomorrow I fly to New York City, and I have this Jazz Wannabes thing I'm going to do. We do 2 shows in Connecticut, fly to Ireland to do a festival, and it's just me and another guitar player. It's just jazz tunes and stuff. So then I'll come back to New York and produce an artist there for just a couple songs, and then we start to write new Helmet records. It's kind of a matter of just making up your mind that you don't want your band to be your entire life. And it's essentially, as I said, ruin my marriage and every relationship, and by being on the road all the time. It's made for and it's made me much happier. I'm having a great time. I have more fun than I ever had in my entire life doing this.
Is music different because of that? I mean, like you said, you're going to produce a few songs. You're not producing, you can produce albums still and all that, but you can also produce a few songs. I mean, things are different the way things are released. How does that change what you do right now?
We're still trying to kind of figure that world out because the last record, Monochrome, came out on Warcon, which was a subsidiary of Fontana, Universal. So it's kind of a smaller label tied into the bigger label, and it didn't work out. It wasn't as good as the Interscope situation we had been for all those years. And so we're still kind of trying to figure out what to do as far as putting music out and getting stuff out to people, download-wise. And it has affected, obviously it's affected things a lot because I was talking to Ross Robinson. I played and wrote the song with Norma Jean, the band Norma Jean.
Yes.
He was the producer. He said, it's weird. We're like the end of the era when you could actually have gold records and stuff. And it's just a different time now. But I think it's an exciting time too. There's like for me, as I said, all these things I've been fortunate to do. I wrote a song for a movie last week, and I scored a little short film, right before I went to Europe. And if you're interested in music and you're open-minded, you want to do a lot of different stuff, it's available. The work is out there. So that's, I think for me, it keeps my life really interesting, and I feel totally blessed that I get to do this. And I feel I'm excited. When I didn't do Helmet for 7 years, when the Helmet band didn't exist, I was playing with Bowie and Ben Neal and Joe Henry and doing these big movie soundtrack things. I was really, really missing the Helmet vibe, and so when I got to LA and Jimmy Iovine called me up and said, make a Helmet record. It's been a blast. You'll see tonight. It's just a really great energy, with this lineup. So
is the situation now in music, giving away music? Is it okay? Is it better for music? Is it not? What is it?
No, it's not better for music. It's unfortunately, anytime you dilute in any sort of creative discipline, to the degree that rock music in particular has been diluted, and rap music and country, I guess, as well. Any kind of popular music form, excluding maybe jazz and classical music. Although some people call light jazz. I call that, I'd rather have my teeth drilled.
Yeah.
Anytime you dilute, you make something so accessible to everybody and free, and everybody can, as you said, record and do stuff at home. You're gonna, I'm sorry, there just aren't that many geniuses out there in the music gene pool, really. And there's a lot of garbage, that gets put out. So and for a 14-year-old kid, he's gonna go, well, I like them because they look cool. And that's, a lot of kids are more damaged than music. And and for me, I grew up in a small town. I had to go find my music. You know, it wasn't like we had big acts or punk bands or anybody coming through town.
Right.
And but I was inquisitive and sought sought.
You did the work.
Yeah, I did the work.
You did the work.
And I still do the work. And I still maintain. I've worked with younger bands. They're like, okay, that's good enough, right? You can And I'm like, no, it's not good enough. We're not going to auto-tune it. We're not going to fix it in Pro Tools. We're not going to quantize. And some of these bands have no idea that their music's getting edited and chopped up. I know my friend of mine, Dave Sardi, is a big producer, and he had worked with a band I won't mention. They've sold millions of records, and they were like, we don't want a bunch of edits in our stuff. And he was like, all right. So they fused all the you create a new audio track of the entire thing.
Right.
And they made like 2 or 3 snips in it, but every beat was quantized and snipped, and every guitar and every note was tuned, and I had no idea. So obviously, if musicianship continues to suffer and bands are not willing to do the work, then yeah, it's not a good thing, you know. But that said, there's still a percentage of bands that are amazing, that are out there that do the work and
yes.
get that and realize that, you know. And it's another, you know, you still have to dig for it, you know, and kids have to get out and look for it.
Is that the cream rises to the top eventually? I mean, right now, maybe not so much as pop music, we take, whatever is fed to us. But, as kids are learning to find music in different ways, is that going to be the cream rises to the top, I think?
I like to think so. I certainly hope so. You know, I work my rear off every day, and I still practice, and I'm fairly disciplined as a musician, and I know a lot of musicians that are disciplined, and I think that I'm standing here talking to you 20 years after I formed the band I'm really, as I said, I feel blessed and fortunate that even though it's people refer to us now as a cult band. Well, hell, it's a cult band. We have this rabid following, and people that get it really get it, and they appreciate it. We just got to go to Australia for the second time in 2 years and play to these great crowds in Europe, and now we're doing pockets of the U.S. We've been doing like that, and some places are more into rock than others. Others, we find Texas to be a great state, and North Carolina is amazing. Chicago was ridiculous, and Minneapolis has always been hip, and in Los Angeles, believe it or not, Los Angeles is a great rock town.
Oh, sure it is.
And so I think, I like to think, yes, if you do the work and you're honest, and that the people that are into us, that's what they're into. They're into, there's no image to speak of. It's what's right. You guys are short hair, except for Kyle, but I'm trying to get his hair.
He's trying.
It's not going to happen, is it?
I told him the other night that if I passed out on the bar, they could cut my hair and do whatever they want. But it didn't happen.
Here's the deal. This is what I want. If he passes out, I want everything gone except for the porn stash.
Okay, yeah. We'll leave the John Holmes.
That's what I'm talking about. So you guys got to start coming out. If you got time, right over here on this stage, Jacob Fred Jazz Odyssey playing, which I know you're aware of, and right out here on Tulsa. So
cool, great, man. Well, we appreciate it, man, very much.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming out. I mean, you guys did great in the interview, by the way. Yeah, that was
Dan.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys did awesome, and honestly, seasoned veterans when it comes to interviews. Paige, thanks so much.
We talk a lot.
Come on down here and check it out for yourself. Helmet playing live at D-Fest tonight. That's where we're live on the Edge.